here with Gaurav Wadi, partner at EMY Parthenon. Gaurav, why is localization of the defense industry an important agenda for emerging markets? And does it mean different things for different countries?
Yeah, thank you, Ed, for that nice question. Why is localization important? Well, there are two primary reasons. First is it's a strategic opportunity for many countries. And second is the economic aspect. Let me talk about both of those. Strategically speaking, the product life cycle of defense products has been shortening. The reason is because of the rate of innovation, new products are coming into the market faster than they were many years ago. That puts the pressure and the requirement for the defense forces and the security personnel to continuously keep them updated. And through the current mechanism of where there are long life cycles of procurement, this just doesn't match. Secondly, the geopolitical risk has been rising. We see many reports that geopolitical risk in the last few years has been highest that it's been in the last 20 years. And this also puts pressure on the countries to secure themselves. Hence, they want their own native capabilities in defense. On the economic side, defense, as we know, is one of the highest R&D spenders, just behind a few other industries such as computing and electronics and software. Defense spends between 3 to 4% of its revenue on R&D, which creates a huge opportunity for creating knowledge jobs. At the same time, defense creates huge export opportunities and job creation opportunities. So for the economic reasons as well, defense is an important industry. And we know that if you look back actually into the decades of 1960s, only 15% of the defense spend was coming from emerging markets, meaning that out of the whole overall total world spend, 15% only was spent by emerging markets. 85% was by established mature markets. If you look today, that is about 50-50. So emerging markets are spending just as much as mature markets, which means emerging markets have a lot more buyer power. And when I'm buying so much, I would say I would like to have some of my own capability to do this and not be dependent on other countries. So hence, you see this consistently. You see this all in emerging markets. And emerging markets, I mean, markets that have high GDP growth rate, that do not have this industry developed, the likes in Asia, the likes in Middle East, the likes in Eastern Europe, Africa. There have a variety of programs to localize their defense industries and varying rates of progress.
Okay, so that gives us a bit of an idea about kind of why it's important and why a country would look at localizing. But what are some of the recommended strategies for doing that? And what are some examples for you that have worked and maybe some that haven't?
Yeah, thank you. Again, great question. Actually, there are several strategies. If you scan the various markets, you'll see a variety of strategies that have been applied, right? You've got offsets, creating national champions such as state-owned defense companies. Countries have invested in funds, done partnerships with international players, even done partnerships at the G2G level to develop programs, attracting and developing talent, developing infrastructure, creating incentives for private sector. There are the likes of R&D programs, even venture capital programs. Regulatory landscapes have been changed. And I mean, I can go on about the kinds of strategies that have been applied. And not to say any of these are wrong. If you do them the right way, they all help. But what I would like to say, what really makes a difference about what has worked and what has not worked, is if something creates genuine trust and confidence among the stakeholders, not just in the short term, but in the medium term, then that's a good strategy. So what I mean is, let me just say that defense is an industry, has kind of two idiosyncrasies, right? It is not a short-term industry. It is a medium to a long-term industry, right? That if you put investment in today, the returns may come multiple years down the line. Just there is just a payback periods can be long. And secondly, it can be volatile, quite volatile. You might have a huge program this year from the government, and next year you may not have for a few years, and then it might come back. And then thirdly, obviously there are there are sensitivities around what IP can be shared and what's national secrets, and all that kinds of confidentiality restrictions that come into play. So hence, by default, there is lack of trust sometimes when you come to working with various stakeholders. So if we can create trust, meaning that if I'm an international player coming into a country, I would like to have this confidence that the licenses that I need, I can get. And the employees that I need to hire, I can hire. That I can get access to the local end user and the buyer. That I can get the required infrastructure, etc., etc. If I'm the employee working in this sector, I need to have the confidence and trust that I will have opportunities in this sector for the long term. If I'm the end user, the buyer, and I'm giving an opportunity, then I need to have the trust that this company will be around for a long period. I will be able to get support from them, right? Because there is that switching cost that everybody feels because, I guess, because of the long-term nature and the other hurdles that the industry has. But if whoever's leading this program can facilitate that dialogue, right, can facilitate that soft cohesion as well as hard cohesion, in the sense soft meaning more the facilitating the dialogue, as well as the hard meaning facilitating some kind of agreements in between these parties, that there is commitment over the long term, that there's confidence over the long term, then I think that creates the winning combination, right? And then you can attach all these strategies that support that confidence and trust ultimately.
Okay, and that long-term development obviously needs a degree of balance to it. And how can countries kind of make sure when they're accelerating their localization programs, also ensure at the same time they continue growing their levels of capability and innovation in their defense industries?
Definitely. So I guess the key question is how do countries do it? And before I answer, I would just like to highlight it depends on the stage of development the countries have reached. Effectively, building an industry is sort of an incubation process, right? You can take the analogy of a company that goes through start at concept definition, mature growth and to some sort of maturity, or a human being that starts as a child and at some point starts to learn to stand on their own feet, and they're off they go. So but I'd like to break this into sort of two stages, the direct development stage and the indirect development stage. The direct is where you're really feeding and nourishing and supplementing the industry with with investments, with knowledge, with support, with protection, until it reaches a certain level of maturity, and then you kind of enable it to prosper on its own. When I say you as the economy, as the government, as the program leader. So, and most of the emerging markets are actually in the first stage, which is the direct development stage. So, what is the key here? The key here, I see a lot of countries, come up with numerous programs. They say, oh, we've launched, this program, or created this infrastructure, we've created this policy and that, and yields little to no result. Because the way I see it is, it's a direct development stage. You really need to nourish the industry directly. What does that mean? You need to know, what are we doing in this industry? As in, are we investing in this sector? What is the subsector? And what is the specific business opportunity? What is my portfolio of business opportunities? Once you select those 4, 5, 6 business opportunities, then you focus and relentlessly focus. Don't give up, because as we discussed earlier, this can be a long-term game. You need to have the commitment. You need to be behind it, and relentlessly focus in helping develop, whether it's putting the right investments, changing the regulations, just like how a startup does it. A startup may have a plan, but 3 days later realizes that my plan needs to change because the realities have changed. And you need to be agile in building those. And effectively, once you build those 3, 4 opportunities, maybe you target 6 and you fail in 2 and you succeed in 4, that would be a great success rate. That gives you a strong platform. Now you are regionally, if not globally, competitive in those businesses. And then you can use that as a base. Then those industries will start to work with local supply chains. They will start to have their own ecosystems locally. They will start to market, build a brand for the country, and then things can start to grow around it. So hence, it's very important that my main message here is the countries need to be very focused on the opportunities and really pick and then relentlessly commit to those opportunities. That would be the way I would suggest to build these industries.
Gaurav, thank you very much for your insights today. It's been really valuable to us, and we appreciate your contribution to the Global Aerospace Summit this year.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Ed, for hosting me. I wish you all the best.